My name is Cody Brown, and you've got to meet my family. I'm a polygamist, but we're not the polygamists you think you know.
We might not want to admit this, but Sister Wives is culturally important. Dare I point it out, Sister Wives is part of a big conversation. A conversation about polygamy that has spanned decades. Oh, just for fun. Let's take a few minutes to see how the Browns fit into this decades-long conversation about polygamy and what they can teach us about the history and future of polygamy on television. In the opening scene of Sister Wives, which if the copyright universe is on my side, then you just saw it, but if not, it's fine because you remember it. Cody was very happy to give us a glimpse into his family's life. My name is Cody Brown, and you've got to meet my family. I'm a polygamist, but we're not the polygamists you think you know. So in those first few moments of the show, Cody quickly set the intention. He was going to prove to us that love should be multiplied, not divided. Now, of course, that's not the tagline he would say now in 2024, but back in 2010, things were different, okay? So anyway, Cody was sure that he could be a different polygamist than the ones we thought we knew. But of course they wanted to be different. Up until that point, no polygamist family who had ever garnered mainstream attention had ever done well. There was, of course, Warren Jeffs and his FLDS followers who got a lot of attention for all the worst reasons. But there was another polygamist family who also spent a lot of time on TV. Tom Green and his wives. Before that, as far as I could find, there were fictional depictions of polygamy, but there were not any real families willing to share their real story with us. The Greens had a documentary made about them, I think it was back in 1999, called One Man, 6 Wives, and 29 Children. You can watch it on YouTube, so I'll put a link to it in the description box. You can watch it and learn more about the family, but I'll warn you, it's a tough watch. This is not a happy life for these people, especially the women and the children. So yeah, either way, the Green family, if you watch it or not, just know that the Green family offered a very different portrayal of polygamy from what we ended up seeing on Sister Wives. For example, Tom argued that it was okay for him to marry the wives that he married, some of whom were 13 or 14 years old when he married them.
She's 14. You know, how much education does a person have to have before they're ready to find the person that they're going to be with for the rest of their life?
Oh, gosh!
He said that those girls were special and they were ready to build a family despite their young age. Tom also married a pair of sisters. He married a mother and then her daughter, or maybe he married the daughter first and then the mother. I don't know. It was like no woman was really off limits to Tom. Tom's interest in young girls and his openness about their finances is what eventually led to his downfall. In 2001, prosecutors used the documentary and other appearances the family had made in the media to prove that Green had broken laws related to bigamy, criminal non-support for failure to take care of his children, which basically means that he lied about his family setup so that his wives could get welfare, and of course the crime of having relations with a 13-year-old. Well, through the trial, Tom got the national attention that he was craving, but he ended up serving 6 years in prison for all of his crimes. Of course, that's not enough. He should have done a lot more time, but that's how it went. In those few years between the documentary coming out and the trial, Tom and his wives got as much camera time as they could. They were on Dateline NBC, they were on the Jerry Springer Show, they were on Judge Judy's show. And I think at some point it became clear that they were being reckless with the information they were sharing on national TV. While Tom was in prison, his family quickly began to fall apart. The wives stuck together for a while, and they were publicly united in support of him, but I think just within the first year of him going to prison, one of his wives left. Well, by the time he was released, Tom had to promise the courts that he would maintain a marital relationship with only his legal wife. Reportedly, she sobbed to the courts and said she would do everything she could to make sure Tom followed the law so that he could stay out of prison and be a father to his kids. Now, did they actually stick to that promise? I doubt it, but that's what they said they would do. Well, Tom passed away in 2021, so not that long ago. And as far as I can tell, some of his wives are remarried and in monogamous relationships now. Okay, maybe you're wondering, what does this have to do with sister wives? Okay, don't worry, I'm going to tell you, all right? Let's admit, whether or not Cody and the sister wives watched Tom Green's documentary, I have no idea. But I do imagine they would have at least heard about this famous polygamist family, one of the first plural families to share their story on national television. Tom Green and his wives created a cautionary tale for any other plural family thinking about going public and sharing their stories in the media. David Levitt, the Utah prosecutor who went after Tom, was, interestingly, a descendant of polygamists and had defended polygamists in past court cases. But that case against Tom was different for him. In a 2001 article, David Levitt was quoted as saying, "I thought I knew the culture, and if they're not hurting anyone, why bug them? I became firmly convinced that this was a guy who had to go down because of what he was doing under the name of religion. I saw a man who was seriously hurting people, marrying 13 and 14-year-old girls, and sucking the welfare system dry." Now, let's be clear. There are likely hundreds, if not thousands, of polygamist families who have claimed to be single parents with lots of children who apply and eventually receive government assistance. And I'm sure their state governments know about it, or at least they have a hunch that it's happening. The Browns did it, right? But when Tom paraded his family in the media and openly admitted what they were doing, the state government could not let that go. And I guess they felt that they had to do something. All that to say, I do not think it's a coincidence that the Browns never talked too much or too specifically about their financial lives before the show. In fact, I think the Greens influenced the Browns in the presentation, how to present their finances to the public. I mean, until recently, when McKelty was on Patreon and, the adult children are giving details, the Brown family parents never gave many details about how they afforded all those kids before the show started. They never talked about their dependency on government assistance, their multiple bankruptcies. Maybe the Brown family's stories about their finances were intentionally vague. They saw Tom and his wives be open about their finances and the prison sentence that followed. Well, just about 10 years after Tom Green and his wives were on our screens, the Brown family showed up on Sister Wives. And just 3.5 years after that, we met Brady Williams and his wives on their show, My 5 Wives. Now, some people really liked My 5 Wives, including me, but the show only lasted for 2 seasons, and there were a couple of rumors about why it got canceled so quickly. Brady Williams gave the most widely accepted reason when he admitted that his family just did not have enough drama going on to keep audiences entertained. And unlike other families on reality shows, they were not willing to make up stuff just for ratings. And I'll give him that, okay? There was some tension between the adults, but it was subtle and not explosive in the way that most reality shows are. The other reason I heard that this show was canceled is that the audience did not know what to think of Brady. On one hand, he was the good guy polygamist. He was kind, honorable, just a regular guy trying to do his best to take care of his family. But then the show crossed a line that they had not tried on Sister Wives. They filmed Brady in his wives' bedrooms. The visual of seeing Brady in 5 different bedrooms with 5 different women was just a little too much for most people, and it was hard to see that and still think of Brady as the good guy. There was also this relatively famous scene from the show when Brady gave his second wife, Robin, her birthday kisses in front of the entire family.
1, 2, 3. It's awkward for the wife watching or the wife that's receiving the attention. 1, 2, 3.
As Robin Williams explained, Brady gave each wife how many kisses for how old they were, and it was a family tradition. But watching the other wives watch this family tradition was difficult for the audience because it was clear that the good guy Brady was hurting his wives' feelings. My Five Wives came out after Sister Wives, but I still see a connection between the two shows in that I think My Five Wives helped Sister Wives create some boundaries. We never saw Cody laying in bed with a wife, even just having a conversation before they went to sleep. If we ever saw Cody asleep, he was in a chair or on the couch in a living room. That one time they showed him sleeping in a wife's room was, I think, in season 4 when he was sleeping in Robin's bed. And I think we all remember how wrong it felt to see that. In a later season, Robin Brown told us that Cody wanted to be more affectionate with his wives, but they never showed much of that. The few times that we saw Cody kiss a wife or embrace a wife, it almost always cut away to one of those interviews with producers where they explained with reasonings meant to validate the affection and reassure us that it was okay. The family is fine with this. You know, for a long time, I thought about Sister Wives as just a show that I really like to watch. It's silly, but I watch it. But I know the truth is that this is part of a bigger conversation. Plural families have been on our screens for many years now, and Sister Wives has been there longer than any other plural family before or after them. And as much fun as it is to look at all the things that this family has done wrong, the Browns have done a lot of things wrong. They've also done a lot of things right, especially as far as the show goes. And I don't know if it's the family making these calls or the editors and the producers, but to me, it's clear that somebody has been looking at the way polygamy has been shown. And they've used that to create a box for Sister Wives to exist in. I think that's partly why the breakdown of this family feels so explosive. For many years, the show lived in a really tight space because they needed us to like the Browns and believe in them, even if they didn't share too many details about how they made things work. The box that this show existed in has totally imploded, and it's not totally clear where each of the family members will land. Of course, now we know Cody and the Sister Wives were not the first polygamist family to be in the media, and I'm sure they won't be the last. And as much as they wanted to show us how normal and average their family was, they also wanted us to see them as unique. I think they had an eye on what other plural families in the media were experiencing, and that influenced how they showed up on screen. Question now is, what will happen after Sister Wives? And more specifically, if Tom Green and his wives taught plural families to stay quiet about their finances, and Brady Williams and his wives taught plural families to keep the cameras out of their bedrooms, then what did Cody Brown and his wives teach future plural families about being on TV? And how long do you think it'll be before another polygamist family gets their turn at their own reality show? As always, thank you for being here. Let me know what you think, and I'll either see you in the comments or in my next video, all right? Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. I love to know that you're out there, okay? All right, take care. Bye.